But the hot topic is about the NBA. And with the NBA, it is a lot of, well, Jackie McMullen, she wrote a series of stories on players and their mental health issues. I'm not going to lie. Some of the stuff, it was like, she wrote about black athletes playing, basketball players playing it from the, coming from poverty and all, like, I mean, maybe she got sources. You know what? I didn't read it, so I'm not. When I first saw it, it was like, what? Right. But she's credible. So, but either or. But a big topic came up because now the NBA owners are saying that they want access to the players' health, mental issues, and this is going to, like, even if their conversations and, like, why are they talking to the doctors and everything like that. So, do you think this is warranted? Do you think they should be able to get access, or are they crazy for doing this?
I think they're crazy for doing it, and I wholeheartedly disagree. First off, you're not privy to that. You know what I mean? When you go for a job interview or you get a job, do they go check your mental health, what's going on, things like that? That in that instance, right, all of this with Kevin Love coming out, DeMar DeRozan coming out, people will stop coming out and talking about this because now you're going to affect my next contract. Mm-hmm. You're going to try to figure out how much you're going to give me based on, well, you did come from poverty, things like that. So I disagree. I think it's horrible, and I honestly don't think that they're going to be able to do it.
G, what do you think about this? Do you think that the players, players have a right to be upset about this, and the owner shouldn't get access, or are they crazy for asking for access with health mental issues?
I mean, it's not crazy for the owners to ask, but considering the HIPAA and other privacy laws, considering with mental health or anything medical, it's probably hard enough for the owners to get access to someone's injury history.
Right.
So trying to get access to their mental health files, I was talking to you about this last night. It's like if your job, if you work at an office or something, and your managers or supervisors want access to your, like if you're seeing a therapist, and they want to know what you're talking to your therapist about. Like you wouldn't want them to know that.
Right. Yeah, and I understand from that point as far as, they don't have to know what what the players are talking about with their therapist. But I feel them. I'm going to tell you why I feel them. Because, and I'm talking about the owners, I've been in a situation. So if you all don't know, 3-point conversion, and not on something like, yo, this is but I'm telling the story. I've been at this point where when I started the 3-point conversion, and had some people with me, rocking with me, like, yo, we're about to launch the show. It was about to be the grand opening of the 3-point conversion. And we were doing a barbershop show. And the first day, I had this guy I didn't know like that. We built, friendship, but I didn't know. Next thing you know, when it was the day of, he's not showing up. Like, what's going on? Couldn't find him, whatever. Found out this dude had a drug issue. Almost derailed us. Might not have been the 3-point conversion if I would have just let that kill us. You know what I'm saying? Thank God I didn't. I was distraught by that. But because of that, and I've run into other issues, I can see why owners would want to know this. And we say, it's not like you could do that at your job, but this is no ordinary job. It's a lot of stress. Now, true enough, it's a lot of stress being on phones and all of that. A whole lot of stress. But with the NBA, it's different because you got fans involved. You got, it's so much that are involved that you have to deal with. And, man, as an owner, I want to know if you mentally straight.
That's that risk you take, though. And also with that, so even with the Donald Sterling issue, right? Mm-hmm. So they should have did with their necessary background or go do through his mental health the owner's mental health records
Right.
and go through their social background and things like that. Let's not just leave it to the players. And the thing that I fear, right? This is what I fear, that you get a Dwayne Wade or a Derrick Rose that grew up in Inglewood, that been around a whole bunch of situations, and you try to use that as leverage to not wanting to give them a max contract.
Right.
So now you're basing it off other things that you have no knowledge about.
True.
And I think that's one of the big things that they would try to do.
I think players are also worried about the public perception of some people, like a lot of people like talk about, oh, this guy's not clutch, or he freezes up, or we've seen I've made jokes about Kyle Lowry, like, why do you need to like decompress in the middle of the game? Why can't you do this before the game?
Right.
Get to that point to where you're focused before the game. I think Kevin Love has had the same issue. And a lot of stories have come out in the past couple of days, like Paul Pierce, after the year he got stabbed, he played 82 games the next year to deal with his depression.
Exactly.
Or Shane Larkin has OCD, and how does he deal with that? So a lot of players have been afraid to speak up about any of their mental health issues because of the public perception, and will teams be afraid to take a risk on someone who may have a mental health issue? But now if the owners want these files, then it's going to affect it's going to affect their money. But it's also a privacy issue. Like, why do you need to know this personal stuff that I'm going through if you don't really need to?
Right. And I understand that. I understand from a player's standpoint. Don't get me wrong. I do, because like you said, I wouldn't want anyone knowing what I'm doing. But at the same time, being an owner, if I was an owner of it, I understand, man. I mean, you just
right. You're
you
investing
can't,
millions of
you
dollars.
investing millions of dollars, and we've seen players break down. We've seen Brian Williams break down. We've seen what's my man name? He played for the Milwaukee Bucks. Then he went to Seattle. Vin Baker. Vin Baker had an issue like that where he broke down.
Sanders too.
Yeah. So you want
to.
I feel like this would be more of an issue with. I'm not sure what the NFL issue is as far as mental health, because I feel like
that they would get this
through.
And I've spoke about it before. Like, I feel that to be a football player, right, you have to be a different type of person. You know what I mean? And like, you like to get hit, you like to fall, things like that, and that goes into the mental aspect. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think that this could become a huge thing.
Right.
And if you are the owner and you want to get this information, how are you going to use it? Are you going to use it to help me?
And that's the big point. Yeah. Is it to help, or is it to we're not giving him money?
Right.
Yeah, it can definitely be used as a weapon.
Exactly. And that's my problem. Like, if you're going to say, okay, we know he has this issue, we can still do this for him, but we're also going to make sure that he has this help outside of basketball.
Right.
3 times a month, 3 times a week, we have this for him.
Now, true enough, though, I ain't trying to pay somebody millions and millions of dollars when this joker could mess up and just go crazy out of nowhere. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Right, like even with the D Rose issue when he left New York for that one day when he completely disappeared. Something like that comes back. Like, would you even you probably wouldn't offer him that $10 million a year. You know what I mean? Like.